Hello, fellow heirs, and welcome back to Weekday Wind Down with the Word, where we are reading through the book of Leviticus. And today we will be reading the 12th chapter of Leviticus in the NLT version. This chapter is all about purification after childbirth. So with that being said, let's start reading. The Lord said to Moses, "Give the following instructions to the people of Israel. If a woman becomes pregnant and give birth to a son, she will be ceremonially unclean for 7 days, just as she is unclean during her menstrual period. On the 8th day, the boy's foreskin must be circumcised. After waiting 33 days, she will be purified from the bleeding of childbirth. During this time of purification, she must not touch anything that is set apart as holy, and she must not enter the sanctuary until her time of purification is over. If a woman gives birth to a daughter, she will be ceremonially unclean for 2 weeks, just as she is unclean during her menstrual period. After waiting 66 days, she will be purified from the bleeding of the childbirth. When a time of purification is completed for either a son or a daughter, the woman must bring a 1-year-old lamb for a burnt offering and a young pigeon or turtle doves for a purification offering. She must bring her offerings to the priest at the entrance of the tabernacle. The priest will then present them to the Lord to purify her. Then she will be ceremonially clean again after her bleeding at childbirth. These are the instructions for the woman after the birth of a son or a daughter. If a woman cannot afford to bring a lamb, she must bring 2 turtle doves or 2 young pigeons. One would be for the burnt offering and the other for the purification offering. The priest will sacrifice them to purify her, and she will be ceremonially clean." And that concludes the reading of Leviticus 12 in the NLT version. So there's a couple of things that stood out to me while I was reading this chapter. Actually, one thing that I thought about even before I got into the reading of the chapter is the purification after childbirth. Just those 3 words made me think of Jesus and how after his childbirth came the purification of Christians, of those that believe in him and those that follow him. Of course, it was a while after his childbirth, but I don't know, it just made me think of that because I have been in my prayer time and I have been thinking about, keeping the season, keeping Jesus on my mind during this season, keeping the birth of Jesus Christ in the forefront of my mind during Christmas, because me personally, sometimes I can't get caught up in the fanfare of the Christmas, the decorating and the gifts and all of this. Sometimes I can get wrapped up into that, and I need to just keep myself reminded of, the celebration of the true gift, which is Jesus Christ, and what it means to me. And so that was one thing I thought about when I approached this particular chapter. And another thing that I thought about is how the woman was unclean. And I think, now somebody can correct me if it's wrong, because there were fluids coming out of her, and it seems that any type of fluid that leaves our body to the Lord is unclean, which makes sense. And just like I said, this book to me, I'm seeing it all about learning the heart of God. And so we're not to play around with bodily fluids. I know this might be nasty, and I know you might say, oh, everybody knows that, because we do typically see bodily fluids and whatever comes out of our body. We typically he sees it as unclean as well. So if anybody ever says we're going overboard, on some of this thing, we can actually point it back to Leviticus and tell them, hey, go read the book of Leviticus, and you will see how the Lord told the priests and the people of Israel that they were ceremonially unclean if they came in contact with these things. And so I just thought about that. I know I'm strange sometimes, and I feel like sometimes strange things pop up in my mind as I read through his word, but it just makes me think of how God's word covers everything that we can go back to his word and we can relate it, even though his word was written thousands of years ago. It's timeless. It is timeless. It never expires. It is never outdated. It is timeless. It is relatable for us today, and it will be relatable to those in generations to come. So with that being said, I'm going to leave it right here. I'm making a short video long. So once again, I would love to hear what you thought about Leviticus 12. And for those that are sticking with me, thank you. Thank you so much for listening to Weekday Wind Down with the Word. Leviticus this time is becoming more interesting to me, and I hope that I'm making it more interesting to you, and the Lord is using me to make it more interesting to you, that you will continue to dive into this word and continue to grow. So